welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing our Motivational Monday, and I would like to talk about relationships. I want to make this as motivating as possible, but it's kind of hard when it comes to relationships because they can be like very like dark and just Debbie Downers. But you know, in relationships, you always want to be happy. And when I'm saying relationships, I'm not talking about, you know, your friendship relationships, all that. I'm talking about your boyfriend, like your man, my boo, you know, stuff like that. So, speaking of a boo, do I have one right now? Let's just say no. But would I like one? Of course. You know, it's just like, I have to change certain things about myself. I have to change certain things about what I want and what I look for in a guy. And it's like, you know, you have to be understanding that everybody's not going to be perfect. Everybody's not going to be everything that you ever wanted. This is not a fairy tale. This is not, you know, Disney Princess Cinderella, Snow White, Rapunzel, you know, it's real world. It's the real world. So I have standards. I do have standards. And when it comes to my standards, it's like, you know, you have to be nice to me. You have to match my level of success, my current success, you know, have a car, your own place, you know, a job, stuff like that. The basics, the essentials, the necessities. Then secondary is like, you know, what is your religious belief? You know, I don't really get too much into politics, but I would like someone that is the same as me. That won't got no arguments, you know, no beef, none of that, you know. Also, you know, are you into fitness? Are you into improving yourself and your overall health? You know, do you have goals? Do you have aspirations? It's like people get blindsided by love. They get blindsided by butterflies and like the good feelings that a person gives you. And you like stop looking at what you initially came into the relationship for. And it's not to say that every relationship that you be in, you have to like get something from that person, because that's not what love is about. That's not what, you know, relationships are about. But at the end of the day, you have to get someone that can, you know, contribute to your well-being, contribute to your life. And if the person is just draining you and sucking you dry, get out of it. Like, I am so surprised. I was talking to this lady this week, and she is 50 years old. She was with this guy for 5 years, and she is just not getting divorced from him. They have been roommates, from what she told me. They have literally been roommates. Like, he in his own room, she in her own room. They don't speak, none of that, for the last 4 years. They haven't touched each other for the last 4 years. I'm like, whoa, girl, how? And she was like, you know, she met him. She fell in love with him. He was so nice. He was so sweet. He courted her, all this stuff. And then once they got married, it stopped. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. And then like now they're getting divorced. He turns to her and tells her, I didn't marry you for love. I married you for your benefits. And I'm like, whoa, that is mind blowing. Because how do you fake a relationship? How do you fake a facade? Like, how do you put on this facade for a whole year? And then you stay in it for 4 years, even though you're not happy, even though you don't love this woman, even though you don't want to be with her, because you could benefit from her? What? Like, that was crazy to me. And like, she told me, you know, since she's been in this relationship, she gained weight, she was depressed, you know, she's letting herself go. Mind you, she's still like, you know, she kept her business, like, you know, she stayed on top of her stuff as far as like her work, because, you know, she has a PhD, got her doctorate, all that kind of stuff, you know. But it's just like, as far as her mental and her physical, it suffered. And it's just like, wow. Like, I completely can relate, because I went through a very similar thing. Well, I won't say not for 4 or 5 years, but it was almost 4 years when I was with my ex. But it's just like, wow, like women will sacrifice themselves and their well-being and their happiness all because of a man. And it's like, you know, we gotta stop doing that. We gotta stop putting them first and put ourselves first. Like, even when it comes to your children, like, And I watched the interview on the Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith, and she even said, like, on one of the episodes, you know, like, as a mother, she has to remember to put herself first. She was putting her husband first, her kids first, her job, all of that, and forgetting about her. And, you know, her hair was falling out. She was suffering. All of this stuff was happening to her. And it's just like, at the end of the day, you got to boss up and remember who is number one. And number one needs to be you. It's not to be selfish. It's not to be conceited. But if you don't take care of you, you're not going to be good for anybody else. So you have to remember to take care of yourself at the end of the day. And like, I've started back with my self-care. You know, I started my YouTube. Like, honestly, I was supposed to start my YouTube back in 2013. And I delayed it for 6 years because I was in a bad relationship. Then I was switching commands. Then I was here, I was there, I was in deployment. And I'm finally like settled and not in a bad space that I could just focus on this. Like, you know, this is my time and I can finally focus on it. And it's just like, I'm ready. I'm happy that I'm finally, you know, ready to go into this world. And then on top of this, you know, I'm starting my business hopefully before the end of this year is up, you know, fingers crossed. Everything works out, everything pans out like it's supposed to. And it's just like, 6 years ago, I wouldn't even, like, I was wanting to do these things, but it wasn't a possibility. It wasn't, because my mind space, all of that was somewhere else. So it just wasn't the best time for me, but now it is the best time for me. So I'm not letting nothing stop me. Like, even if I start dating now, like, it's like, he has to understand that this is first. Me is first. I come first. Like, I know me is first is not the correct language, but you know, I come first, and then, you know, you could be second. But if you can't understand that, if you can't accept that, then deuces, because I'm not sacrificing myself for anyone else anymore. And you kind of have to learn to be a little bit selfish, and you have to learn to put yourself first. If you don't put yourself first, who gonna put you first? Like, seriously, you have to turn around and ask yourself that. If I'm not putting me first, who's going to put me first? Yes, people have kids and their kids will always love them and, you know, this, that, and the third. But when you have a child, your body changes and, you know, you in your mind think, oh, I can't go buy a makeup because I got to get a bottle, or I can't go buy this because I got to get formula. I can't go buy this because I got to get diapers, daycare, you know, clothes, all that. And that makes sense. You know, your priorities, make sure they're aligned, but at the same time, don't forget about yourself. Like, you can't just forget about you for the whole 18 years of your child's life. You have to balance that. Make sure you take off time for you and, you know, rest, go to the spa, get your nails done, get your feet done, get a massage, stuff like that. It don't have to be every week, it don't have to be every day, but you need to do it here and there, because if not, you are going to break down and you're going to be no good for anybody else because you have neglected yourself. So it's just like, things like that, that self-care is so important. And hearing this lady tell me that she did this for 5 years and she's 50 years old, it just woke me up. Like, I don't want to go through that at that age. I don't want to go through that at this age. Like, I have to constantly remind myself to remember to take care of myself, because if not, I'm going to get blindsided by love, which I have in the past, so I'm not going to lie. And I just lost focus. So it's just like, you have to constantly remind yourself to stay motivated to your goals, your wants, your desires, and to not have someone that's going to hinder that come into your life. If they're going to be there, they're going to help it. You need a helpmate. That's the whole point of a person in your life. That's the whole point of your companion. They're supposed to be a helpmate, a soulmate. Like, feed your soul, feed that spirit. And, you know, and if they're not doing that and they're just draining you, girl, cut them off. Like, become a barber and cut them off, like, period, because they're not gonna do anything good for you. So that concludes my Motivational Monday. You know, self-care is #1 importance, and, you know, set your standards and don't let anyone else make you falter on where your standards are set. So I hope you guys enjoyed my Motivational Monday. I hope you guys can take something from it. I hope you guys, you know, start brainstorming, you know, the things that you want in your life for you, and, you know, consider how the person that's currently in your life helps that. And hopefully, you know, hopefully it comes out that he helps it. Or if not, you know, suggest like, hey babe, we could do this instead, you know, babe, we could do this. That way we could both benefit, you know. A planner, getting like, you know, a board for scheduling, you know, all that kind of stuff. Every little bit counts and it helps. And, you know, going to the gym together, you know, if you getting chunky and then he's still fine, you know, how about you go to the gym with him? And don't feel ashamed about going to the gym with him, and explain to him like, hey, I want to come and work out with you, but I'm not as fit as you, so I need you to not make me feel shame for coming with you. And that was one of the things I used to go through with my ex as well. Like, I would go to the gym with him, and, you know, he was like 5% body fat. Like, he had no body fat on his body. It was ridiculous. Like, as much as this boy ate, he never gained a pound. So I hated him. But anyways, no, I don't really hate him. But still, it just irked me because I would eat the same thing he eat, and then I would just bloat. And then he would just eat it, and he'd be like, So it's just like, you know, I had to explain to him, like, don't yell at me if I'm lifting light. You know, I can lift heavier because I've done it in the past, but I'm not there anymore. I'm not that person anymore. I'm not 21-year-old me. I'm 25 now. I done got weak. So, you know, let me build back up to my strength. Let me get my endurance back up. Let me get my cardio back up. You know, let me get my stamina back up. And then once I'm there, then, you know, we can go, you know, balls to the wall. So it's just like, you got to explain those kind of things to your mate so that they know that they are helping you instead of hurting you. And if they don't respect the fact that you're asking, then that's red flag, honey, red flag. Girl, you need to become Forrest Gump and run away. Run away, because he is not going to benefit you. He is going to, you know, try to control you. And those tiny little bits of control, telling you, they escalate. They escalate over time. You don't know it until it's too late. And you just don't want to be that woman. I really mean this to be like, you know, spitting knowledge, dropping some gems on y'all, and like getting people to reflect on their current situations. Or, you know, if you're not even in the current situation, how you are going to go forward into a future situation and benefit the entire time, rather than end up in a situation where you're regretting something or you're regretting giving someone a chance. I really do mean this to be motivating. And, you know, it's just to give pointers on, you know, going into a future relationship, reflecting on your current relationship, recognizing what you did bad in the past and not repeating those same cycles. You know, it's just all that is encompassing. And, you know, it's just recognizing how you can do things differently in your future relationships, how you can change things to the benefit of you and your spouse in your current relationship, and, you know, things that you did bad in the past that you don't want to repeat. So once you realize that and recognize that, and, you know, can incorporate those things in your life, I swear, like, things will blossom. Like, my current situation is like, it's so much better now that we've had these discussions about what we did bad, what we did good, how we can improve, what we want. And so I just encourage you all to have those conversations. They're kind of hard sometimes, depending on who you're talking to, but I encourage y'all to have those conversations with your spouse, with your mate, with your boo, with your bae, all of that, you know, with your situational ship. You know, I was in one of those before for a long time, and we finally had that conversation, and then we called it quits. But, you know, it's like, you just never know what your person may need that you have not heard from them, or what they haven't been made aware of. So that conversation is always good to have. And communication is like literally key in every relationship. So if you haven't had those hard conversations and you're still avoiding your harsh reality, that's from my other Motivational Monday, you know, go ahead and just swallow that pill and talk and have that conversation. But I love you guys. You guys stay beautiful as always. And you have a great Monday. Bye. I can't wait, but I tried. There we go. No. How you do it? Whatever. Bye.